So let's begin. Last time we stopped at the 6th line. So you can read from the book or you can read from the slide. So maybe I'll read from the slide. No, whatever son or daughter of a family shall hear the name of the blessed Amitabha, the Tathagata, and having heard it, shall keep it in mind, and with thoughts undisturbed, shall keep it in mind for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 nights. When that son or daughter of a family comes to die, then that Amitabha, the Tathagata, surrounded by an assembly of disciples and followed by a host of bodhisattvas, will stand before them at their hour of death, and they will depart this life with tranquil minds. So the message of this sutra, the smallest Sukhavati Vyuha, or Amitabha Sutra, A彌陀經, it's actually a simple one. The message is a simple one. It details the discourse of Sakyamuni to his disciple, Sariputra, about a Pure Land and the method to go to the Pure Land. At the beginning of the sutra, Amitabha's Pure Land is said to lie 10 billion Buddha lands to the west. And Sakyamuni explains that Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land is known as perfect bliss, perfect happiness, because in contrast to this world of suffering, it is a land, a perfect land, or somebody may call it a heaven, where there's only great joy. There's no suffering over there. And he describes the Pure Land as adorned with 7 kinds of precious metals and jewels on trees and ponds and on tall buildings. And that's just a description of the heaven. The heaven is it's supposed to be adorned with all kinds of treasures, and everything there is so perfect. And when the wind blows, wonderful music is heard. In such an environment, people naturally think of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. People naturally think of enlightenment, naturally think of how to practice in order to get to enlightenment, to get to nirvana. So in short, the Pure Land combines all the features of an ideal world. It's the world where there's no more suffering. In this world, we have lots of suffering. We already mentioned that in detail, the kind of suffering that we suffer in this world. There's no denial. It's a fact that this world is a world of suffering. And it is not pessimistic, because it's the fact. Dying, sickness, you name them. I mean, you know more than I do. Read the newspapers and know what kind of sufferings we have in this world. And it's not pessimistic. You can take an optimistic view about it. You can say, oh, suffering, I don't want to think about suffering. I always want to strive forward. I want to be successful. I want to do this. I want to do that. That is your attitude to life, which is right. But you can't deny there's suffering in this world everywhere. There's suffering everywhere. As for the name of the Buddha of this Pure Land, in Sanskrit, the word Amita is referred to as Amitabha also. And it is explained that Amitabha is, in the Sanskrit language, is infinite light, which represents wisdom, symbolizes wisdom. And it's also called Amitayas, which means immeasurable lifespan or longevity, which symbolize the merits obtained, which symbolize enjoyment and great joy. It is said that there are no other original Sanskrit words for Amitabha Buddha other than Amitaya, Amitabhas. So that's 2. Amitabha is also called in the Japanese language is Amita. In the Chinese language, Amitofo. You can either call it Amitaya, call the name, the Buddha, Amitayas or Amitabha. So in that paragraph, it says, if a good man or woman hears about Amitabha Buddha and with single and undistracted mind takes firm hold of his name for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, up to 7 days, Then at the time when the person's life is about to end, Amitabha Buddha, together with an assembly of many other holy ones, bodhisattvas and arahats, will be present before that person. Such a person with mind unperturbed at the moment of death will attain birth in Amitabha's land of Sukhavati, will be reborn in that pure land. That's what the whole paragraph is all about. That means even with 7 days, so when a person is dying with concentration, with no distraction, for 7 days, they will be reborn in there. Next paragraph. After their death, they will be born in the world Sukhavati. Sukhavati means bliss, the land of bliss. In the Buddha country of the same Amitayas, the Tathagata. Tathagata is another name for the Buddha. It means the one that has come. The one that has come, but his coming transcends coming and going. Therefore then, O Sariputra, having perceived this cause and effect, I, with reverence, say thus: every son and every daughter of a family ought with their whole mind to make fervent prayer for that Buddha country. So we should always be training our mind to recite Namo Amitofo in the Chinese language, or Namo Amitabha. It does not matter. The language does not matter. The faith, the belief, and the sound, the fervent prayer matters. It does not matter what is Amitabha, Amitofo, Amitaya. It does not matter. What matters is the fervent prayer that you want to go to that country. You want to go to that heaven. You want to go to that land of bliss. So if you raise the question is, which is the accurate pronunciation? If it only matters on the pronunciation, then the Buddha is not Buddha. The Buddha communicates with you through mind, not through language, not through form. So as long as your mind is always concentrating on that Buddha, Amitabha, Amitaya, or Amitofo, whatever you want to call, he will be present and he will be receiving you into that land where no more suffering. But you still have to practice in there to be the Buddha, because you haven't become the Buddha in this lifetime, and it's not easy to be the Buddha in one's lifetime. Quite different from the ancient days, those ancient days where people concentrate a lot more, where people are not as busy, where people are not charmed or enticed by materialistic lifestyle. So it's getting more and more difficult to be reborn with purity of karma in that country, in that Buddha land. Next. And now, O Sariputra, as I here at present glorify that world in the east, O Sariputra, are the blessed Buddhas led by Tathagata Azupya, the Tathagata Meru Diraja, the Tathagata Mahameru, the Tathagata Muru Prabhasa, and the Tathagata Manju Devakja, equal in number to the sand of river Ganges, comprehend their own Buddha countries in their speech, and then reveal them, except this repetition of the law called the favor of all Buddhas, which magnifies the inconceivable excellences. What does that mean? Sakyamuni Buddha wanted us to know that in the east, in the south, in the north and the west, in the zenith, in the nadir, in everywhere of the universe, there are Buddha countries too. In other words, Sakyamuni Buddha was born, historically a Buddha, born in this world 2,600 years ago, introducing to us the method of enlightenment. He's the teacher introducing to us and telling us how to get out from reincarnation, how to get up from karmic cycle of birth and death. And there are other Buddhas in other lands that were doing the same thing. The perspective of the Buddhist teaching is space is not just of this world. It's the whole galaxy of worlds. We only discover that through astrology, that we're not only occupying this globe, there are other lands, the galaxies of other stars, Jupiter, Mars, Moon, everyone, they all is unending space. And there are lands in other places too. So 2,600 years ago, before the invention of telescope and before the discovery in science of astrology, the Buddha already said, space is unlimited. There are many other lands. It's just our eyes cannot see those lands. So the Sakyamuni Buddha said, right now there are other Buddhas in other lands also promoting Amitabha's Pure Land, promoting this land of bliss, which is an easier method to go to. Everybody has to die anyways. All sentient beings have to die. And after you die, the average ones, most of the sentient beings, they roll into the next reincarnation of life and death with their karma, because we haven't purified our karma. So don't regard your death as the end of you. The death is the end of your present body. It's the beginning of another body rolling down the life of birth and death. But you don't want to do that though. Don't get the mistaken idea that, oh, when I die, I'm going to go into the next body, and the next body, I want to be a better body. I mean, who determines whether you have a better body, a better life? Who? Is it God? No, not God. It's you yourself. You created your own karma. You created your own destiny. You created your own karma, your energy, and you roll with the same energy into your next life. If you're always creating bad energy, bad karma, your next life is going to be miserable. If you're always creating good, meritorious energy, good karma, your next one is going to be favorable. But it does not matter how, you still have to go through life and death. And even if you go into the next life, which is more favorable than this one, there's always in the favorable energy that contains the miserable ones. So you may be rich, you may be healthy, but you don't have a good family. Maybe your kids are not doing fine, or your wife is betraying you, or your husband is betraying you, or if you have a good family, you may not have good health. If you have a good health, you may not have money, you're poor. So everybody is different because you are rolling down that reincarnation life cycle with your karma. And nobody gives it to you. Not your fellows, not your folks that infuriated you, it's you yourself, you created that. So in other countries, other Buddha also are saying there's a land called Amitabha, the Pure Land, Sukhavati, and all of us should go there. And Sakyamuni Buddha is identifying all those Buddha lands. So the first Buddha is to the east, there are blessed Buddhas led by Azuksvaya, that means immovable one, invincible one. It's just a description of the Buddha. There's so many other Buddhas, so many enlightened saints already. You contain that nature of becoming the Buddha. But there are enlightened ones who are already out, who are already beyond life and death, and they're teaching others to get out from life and death. So that's to the east, there's Azuksvaya, the Saragata, and Meru Devacca. Meru is like a mountain. Devacca is the shape of a mountain, very tall. That means magnificent. So that Buddha has very magnificent shape, you call it. That's just a description of the name. And there's also Mahamuru, the big mountain, Mahamuru. There's also the Muru Prabhasa. Prabha, that means light. So magnificent light, that's the descriptions. Manju Devacca. Manju, it's inconceivable, the best, excellent sound Buddha. So to the east, there are those Buddhas. equal number to the sand of the river Ganges. That means there are other Buddhas too, teaching in other countries, in other land where there are sentient beings. And a lot of them, a lot of Buddhas, a lot of sentient beings, like the sand of the river Ganges. There's so many of them. Accept this repetition of the law. That means they all favor this practice and say this is an easier practice. To be born in that heaven first. Okay, next paragraph. Thus also in the south do other blessed Buddhas led by the Tathagata, Kandra Surya Pradippa Buddha, the Tathagata, Yasa Prabha Tathagata, Muru Pradippa, Anatta Virya. All these are the Buddha's name. Kandra Surya Pradippa, that means the golden light Buddha. Yasa Prabha means outstanding light. So all these are descriptions of those Buddhas in there. To the east, to the south too, there are all these Buddhas who are also promoting Amitabha's Pure Land, saying that if it is very difficult for you to practice in your lifetime to become the Buddha, to be enlightened, there's an expedient way, is to be born in that country, in that heaven, in that land of bliss, where you continue to practice. And when you are in that land of bliss, there's no more retrogression, no more coming back to reincarnation. But your karma is not yet purified. It's just with the vow, with the power of Amitabha, your soul exists in there first to learn more about enlightenment and nirvana. But the good thing about it is you don't have to go back to reincarnation. So that's the reason why it's become a very popular method of practice in China and in Japan and in Korea too. But not so in the Theravada school. There's no such practice in the Theravada school. Not in Thailand, not in Burma, because they followed the Southern school, which is the Theravada school, purely on your own efforts, on meditation, on purification of your conduct. But this is an expedient way, because who can be successful in one's lifetime? Is it easy? Difficult. Given all the busy schedules every day, the karma, and you're involved with a lot of materialistic lifestyle, how can you purify yourself in one's lifetime? You reincarnate again, but with a purer karma. You practice in this life, your karmic energy is purer than before, and you practice in your next life, getting pure, and you practice and practice and practice and practice again until you become enlightened. It's difficult. Next. Thus also in the West, do other blessed Buddhas led by the Tathagata Amitayas, the Tathagata Amitaskanda, Amita Devaja, Mahaprabha, Maharatna Ketu, Zutta Vasparabha. So all these are the Buddha names to the west of them. There's a lot of Buddhas to the west already. And if you want to Google, you can find out more information about the meaning of this Sanskrit meaning. All of them have a meaning. So to the west, there are Buddhas also promoting Amitabha's Pure Land. Thus also in the north, to other blessed Buddhas led by Tathagata, Mahaskanda, Vaisvavana, Vanirakosa, Dudu Bisvarani Bragosa, Duspra Darasa, Aditya Sambhava, and all these others to the north. To the north, there are also Buddhas promoting this expedient way, the Sukhavati Vyoha, Amitabha's Pure Land. Why is this particular? Because Amitabha particularly have seen the problem with later sentient beings, not easy for them to get enlightened in one's lifetime. So he set up this country, he set up this heaven for you to go. In other words, there is a professor, Amitabha. He set up a university where you can go to, and you learn in there until you graduate as an enlightened Buddha. So you have to be accepted into that university first. How do you get accepted in university? Train yourself all the time so that at the juncture of death, you will not be distracted. You will have unperturbed mind. You will have concentration. Is it easy? It is easy, but it's also very difficult. Why? Usually when a person passes away, he's in pain. He has a lot of attachments. He won't let go. He has a lot of pain that he cannot concentrate. He would not have an unperturbed mind. So that's the reason why every day we're training Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha, all the time, every minute. When you have time, you train your mind so that at the juncture of death, you would not have distraction. It sounds very simple and very easy, but who knows? At the time of death, who knows what happened to you when you died? You could be in an accident where you don't have any time to have an unperturbed mind, so that your soul will be so unperturbed that you will be going to that land. At one time I went to, we were invited by the doctor in here, in Vancouver, to go to the family, the home of a dying patient. The doctor was there, and that dying patient it's also a good friend of the doctor. That's the reason why the doctor took the time and called us and say, would some monks come along and help to chant so that my patient can go to the Pure Land. Actually, our practice is we don't go out on any request. We don't just say, okay, you want to go out, and we go out. We don't go on any request. But the doctor was so sincere, and the dying patient was actually a social worker involved with helping kids. He's dying because of cancer. That dying patient has been helping out a lot of kids, poor kids in poor areas, raising some communities for poor kids. So we really wanted to go, and he had a lot of friends too. So we went over there. We have about 1 monk and 2 nuns, bhikshunis, 1 bhikshu and 1 bhikshunis. So we went there, and I talked to the dying patient, and he was able to, he had some injections, painkillers who didn't feel painful, and we were chanting by his bedside, and he's chanting himself. But after chanting for 5 or 6 hours continuously, he said, I wanted to sit up when I passed away, cross-legged. So he wanted to meditate. So he wanted to sit on his bed. And actually, he could actually get up and sit and meditate and chant. We chanted for another 2 hours. So we chanted for about 8 hours. And still he couldn't go away. And he was so distracted. So he lied down, and finally we have to go. We can't chant all the time. So the doctor said, thank you very much. Maybe he's not ready. We thought he's ready to go, but he's not ready yet. So after chanting 8 hours, he's not ready, and we found a lot of distraction with him too. So we came back, and after 1 or 2 weeks, we would receive a call from the doctor and say, oh, the patient finally passed away. So we didn't go. He didn't pass away in the middle of chanting of Amitabha. He just passed away quietly. So if you can chant in the middle of some chanting around you, and you're reminded of chanting Amitabha, and your mind is without distraction and unperturbed, that's a rare opportunity. That's not easy to have a situation like that. You have to build up a situation like that. Who will be chanting by your bedside when you passed away? Maybe just your family members, and your family members may not believe it. Who knows, you will be dying on your bed. We don't know. Somebody collapsed and just passed away. And somebody passed away in an accident. If there are people who actually pass away without distraction, with peace of mind, amidst the sound of Amitabha, and ready to go to the Pure Land, that's really an inconceivable merit that you have to build up. Now, first of all, let's say train ourselves mentally. first. Every day, and every day invoke that name and invoke the vow and match your dedication with the Amitabha's dedication, with the Amitabha's vow. You really have to have a third power to enhance your chance of going over there. You really have to have the faith. You really have to say your fervent prayer that I want to go to your land of bliss. Please receive my soul into your land of bliss at my juncture of death when I'm passing away. I must want to go to your land. You really have to have this linkage, this spiritual linkage, that when you die, you want to go there, so that you always link up your frequency with Amitabha, and you always have that desire to go there. If your prayer is just haphazard, if your desire to go there is just haphazard, not firm, and not a fervent prayer, I don't know if you can go there at the junction of your death. So build up that training. You build up that habit that you want to go there. If your wish is so strong, so powerful, you may be linked up with the vow. You link yourself up with the vow of Amitabha. So that's very important. Thus also in the Nadir do other blessed Buddhas led by Tathagata Simha, Tathagata Yasa, Tathagata Yasa Prabhava, Tathagata Dhamma, Tathagata Dhamma Dara, Tathagata Dhamma Devaga, to the Nadir. In that location, the lowest point and the highest point of the universe, there are other Buddhas who are also promoting Amitabha's Pure Land. Lots of Buddhas to the Nadir, to the east, to the west, to the north. And also in the zenith, to other blessed Buddhas, led by Tathagata Brahmagosa, Nasatra Raja, Indra Katu, Deva Jaraga, Ganda Tama, Ganda Prabhasa, Maha Kiskanda, Ratna Kusuma Zampu Sita Gatra. Not of other Buddhas who are in the zenith of the universe promoting the Buddha's land. So that's the zenith. So to the east, we already talked about, to the east, to the west, to the north, to the south, to the nadir, to the zenith, everywhere there are Buddhas who are promoting this simple, easy method for sentient beings, because they know that sentient beings are getting more and more karmic energy that prevent them from enlightenment. That will make it very difficult for enlightenment. So this is an easier method. Just train yourself at the juncture of death. You're not distracted. You have an unperturbed mind that Amitabha, together with Avalokiteshvara, together with other bodhisattvas and arahats, they are coming in assembly to receive your soul into that land, and you'll be reborn in there, in a land that you don't go through reincarnation again. You learn in there to become the Buddha. You're not the Buddha yet. You continue the learning process to become the Buddha.